Where my sister wins, I win at the Sisters Cafe.
Hey everybody, it's your girl Gladys B, and we are here for an extra special Sisters Cafe. Take a moment right now and share this live with all you folks. Everybody you know. Some of y'all are at work, some of y'all are at home, some of y'all already on Christmas vacation. So go ahead and share this live with everybody that you know. Why? Because we have a special guest with an important message. Some shows you just see me on here talking. Some shows are important. This one is important. Well, you know what? They're all important. Let me not say that. But anyway, okay, cafe. Is everybody sharing? Are you sharing? Because sharing is caring. This is your girl Gladys B, and this is another segment of Sisters Cafe, where we gather with our favorite cafe beverage for real talk, heartfelt moments, community support, information, education, and prayer partners. Here at the cafe, we sip on truth, pour out love, and stir in a whole lot of sisterhood. Whether you're driving to work, unwinding at home, or still in a moment for yourself, this is your time, your table, and your tribe. This is your safe space to breathe, to grow, to heal, be inspired, empowered, but above all else, be your best self. Be sure to follow me on all these social media platforms. You can catch me every Wednesday for Woman Crush Wednesday on Power Influence Radio. Make sure you send in those Woman Crush nominations, y'all. Send in the people that you love, care for, you know that's doing a great job that never get recognized, because we want to spotlight those Women Crush Wednesdays in your life. If you haven't, go over to Daily Faith Network on your Roku TV, Apple TV, Fire Stick, and find the Sisters Cafe channel. Y'all, we a whole channel over there on Daily Faith Networks. If you haven't, go to that YouTube channel and lock us in so that way you don't never miss an episode when it comes out. And if you haven't heard, y'all, we are getting ready for that 2026 I Win Conference, March 27th through 28th in Houston, Texas. Super excited. Super excited. We are calling for all sponsors, all advertisers, volunteers, and vendors. Y'all, it's about to go down in Houston. If you missed all of that, go over to the website at www.sisterscafeinc.com and you can read up at your own pace anything you want to know. You can see it there. That's events, that's deadlines, what we do on Facebook, on Instagram, the book, the t-shirt, the store, everything you want to know about Sisters Cafe, you can find on the website. But today we have a special guest. I am here with my Facebook friend, soon to be in-person friend, Miss Kristy Smith. She is the founder of Angeli Vision Reclaim Company, a business coach, minister, and a champion for elite single moms. So I want you to help me welcome, Cafe. Help me welcome Miss Kristy. Hey!
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Kristy.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I am very blessed on this lovely, what is today? Monday? I am doing well.
Today is Monday. It goes by so fast, doesn't it?
It does. Enjoying this cold. I think more so it would do me even more, and I'll be even more blessed if it snows. I just need a little sprinkle, just a little drizzle. Just enough to pretend to build a snowman. You know, we know how Texas is. It snows, right, and the next second is hot. So let me at least attempt to get a together.
Right, absolutely. I like when it snows, but I think because it forces me to stay in the house and be still. Like I don't have to go outside. I don't have to go do nothing. I ain't responsible for nothing. And the stuff I did have to do, I don't have to do it no more.
Yeah.
So I love that part. But the most important question of today is what's in your cup?
What's in my cup? Okay, so I actually have, because I do a lot of speaking, I have throat coat. I am
What
drinking
does
some
that mean?
A throat coat is a tea that helps to heal your voice, heal it coats your vocal cords so
Okay.
that you will be able to speak more. Sometimes when you speak a lot, your throat dries out, and you need to stay lubricated. So it has like medicinal purposes in the tea that helps to keep your throat lubricated and healed from always speaking, and it helps
I
coat your
did
vocal
not
cord.
know that.
Mhm.
Okay, so is that the reason? Um, there's a lot of times when I get up to speak and I'm going maybe an octave higher, my voice begins to scratch. And you would
Mhm.
think I was trying to preach, but I don't. My voice is scratchy and it's itchy. So is that,
Uh-huh.
do I need to do some throat coat like a week before or a day before?
Yes. So a lot of times, w- in this industry, or not just industry, but speaking or even singing, a lot of people, they rest before they go to sing or speak, and they do like some sort of routine. Maybe get cayenne pepper with some lemon and peppermints in it to coat your throat, give it time to relax the muscles and the tension in the muscles, because you want to, like, a lot of singers, they warm up, they do all the thing. I can't even lip trill right now, but they do those things with the vocal cords before they just start speaking, because your vocal cords are at a state of rest and they're cold, so you need to warm them up. And so throat coat helps warm up, lubricate it, and all the things, and help you to be able to speak and do those octaves. And if you are screaming, and like, it helps you to heal your throat.
Okay. Okay. So is it actually if I go in the store, is it actually called throat coat?
It's actually throat coat. It's
Really?
actually going to say on the box, throat coat.
Okay. All right, y'all
Yeah.
heard it here. For all you people that got scratchy throats, when you speak or when you sing or anything like that, go get you some throat coat. And it's
Mhm.
worse, obviously, in the cold, correct? So, like if
It does.
summer, you have less issues with that.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. But cold, because you're especially going out there, you want to wrap your throat, scarf or anything like that, but also having your throat coat with you to help you to stay your vocals to stay warm, because that cold air coming against, it does affect your ability to speak, and it can cause harm to your vocals. And because now you're trying to push through something that is has not been warmed up, like a vehicle. You want to get your vehicle to
Got it.
warm up before you just start moving. Yeah.
Okay. 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 That makes a lot of sense. What caught my attention is your passion for single moms.
Mhm.
I know you do a whole bunch of other things, but um, it caught my attention because your heart for single moms matches my heart for single moms.
Mhm.
And for me, I didn't even know. I don't. Sometimes now I don't even know if I can still call myself a single mom. I'm a veteran single mom now because my babies are grown. But
Mhm.
what what caused you? I guess other than experience, but you can add that in there. But what caused you to have this heart for single mom?
Yeah. So for me, it started when I was younger. I didn't grow up in a single mom home, but seeing single moms, I had a family member that was a single mom. And I always, hearing different stories about single moms, and, you know, jobs in inner cities. And it's hard for single moms to get to jobs because of location, and who's going to be home with their children. So it was a lot of different types of hardships and challenges that I heard within the single mom community. And my heart kind of just went out towards single moms. And I've always wanted to be able to help in some sort of way. Like, what can I do? And so later on, finding myself in this position of being a single mom and really understanding the depth of the, stereotypes, the stigmas, the challenges, the obstacles, everything that goes along with single moms. I ask God, like, okay, is this my people? Is this the calling, as far as me, one, being an evangelist? Is this the people that you are wanting me, or the community you are wanting me to reach? And it was actually in 2016. 2016 when I was in, no, 2014, when I was in 2015, when I was in Alabama. And so I was asking the Lord this specific question, and he, allowed me to know, gave me like, yes, this is your people. This is who I called you to reach. And so that's where actually my heart started before I got off into actually becoming a single mom. It was always, I want to do this. I want to put businesses, in communities where they would get paid exceptionally well, that have the benefits that they are in need of, and transportation and the whole nine, so that they would know, single moms would know that, you don't have, people see you, we hear you. There are people that are working to provide to where you don't have to depend on certain, entities, where you can have your own, you can, make 6 figures or 7 figures, and, go back to school like you want to, and have your children in a place where they are taken care of when you're at work. And so that's where my passion and my heart, it just started when I was younger, that I always, I saw my cousin and I saw how she was killing the game. I would say that it's not a game, but killing it as a single mom, like had her own place, had her, own vehicle. So it was totally opposite of what I heard of single moms. So she was like my actual role model of knowing, like, oh my goodness, single moms can have their own and still successfully be a single mom. And that's where this whole being elite, you are more than, especially in Christ, God has called you a royal priesthood, regardless of your status. So knowing that you are a royal priesthood, that makes you elite. So a lot of people, when I say you're an elite single mom, they're like, I never thought of myself or seen myself in that view of being an elite single mom, but you are.
And that's because I can get that, because it's such a stigmatism, I think is the word, about single moms. And it's frowned upon. It's so frowned upon. And I understand that's not the way the household was created. So I get it, but I don't understand the frowning upon it, because I don't know. I can be honest. I was really, I guess, embarrassed when I became one, because it wasn't really the plan. It's not like I had kids to be like, yo, I'm gonna be a single mom. Let me go do. I mean, that was not my plan, Exactly. So I was slightly embarrassed. But what's funny, and I'm gonna put it out there, my embarrassment was not just because I was single mom, but I was a single mom in church. So my embarrassment came, I was embarrassed to face the people of God. I was embarrassed to be around the church people, because that's where the stigmatism was. The people in the world didn't look at me weird if I'm a single mom, but it's almost like I'm bearing the scarlet letter if I'm in church, which I would really love for us to change, because church is where we're supposed to be, where we're supposed to be safe. This is why I'm glad you created this, and that there are spaces and places that women can go, because it's not always a choice that we made. I don't know too many. I'm not saying there's not anybody who woke up and decided, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do this by myself, but most of us didn't choose to do it by ourselves. Stuff just didn't work out. Simple. And I wasn't going to stay in a bad, abusive, toxic relationship just so that I wouldn't be a single mom. If I could tell my part or have a testimony to tell somebody, it's not always a bad thing that you are a single mom. It's not. I know it feels harder. I know it feels like more of a struggle, but it's not always bad. My ex-husband and I weren't even on the same page. So I don't know how we stayed together. Will we be fighting and arguing about whether are the kids going to go to church or not? Can you imagine Milton not being in church? I mean, if his dad's the complete opposite, which that was on me, and I knew that, but I was upset and struggled with it. But on the flip side, I was very, very happy. Happy, or should I say, grateful that I could make these decisions for my children without any backlash or having to argue with nobody, or nobody gets to tell me how I'm gonna raise my child. And even to hear the ex say, y'all in church too much. Okay, well, that's a you and God problem, because we're going to church. So I liked it later on that I had the opportunity to raise my children and to cultivate this amazing relationship that we have. You know what I mean? They're not just my boys, they're my hearts, they're my loves, those are my honeys. I love them, and I don't know that the relationship would have been like that if we didn't have to make this journey just us. So I believe there are advantages and disadvantages to being single mom, but I actually see more advantages to disadvantages. But I guess it just depends on the person. What about you? So I'm gonna guess you didn't wake up and decide you was gonna be a single mom, or did you decide, you know what, I don't even need you, just give me your sperm and then I'm gonna raise my kid?
No, oh my goodness. My parents had the perfect, I would say, marriage, and I wanted to role model their marriage. And so when I got married, that was the model that I had in mind, and I wanted to pattern after, and so forth. So when I became a single mom, it wasn't I even prayed. I was even like, okay, God, I'm working on myself, and I'm to watch you, because I hear how you can heal marriages, how you can restore broken things, and and I want to watch you do this in my marriage. And it didn't turn out. Both parties have to be willing to allow God.
Absolutely.
If you're going to be, you're centered on faith and God and so forth, then both parties have to have that same understanding, maturity, or the same, mindset of, okay, we're coming together and we want our marriage to work. But when, as you stated, when one person is more spiritual minded or kingdom minded or more focused on, okay, growing up, where the other one is more, you have babes in Christ still, you have those that are immature, you just know where they are. And so, you can't, there's going to be friction. And so when I became a single mom, it wasn't by choice. I was literally fighting for my marriage to work, because I wanted to be that testimony of God, how God turned things around, how God heals, how God can do A, B, and C, and not allow the enemy to have a victory under his belt. So that was my thing. I was fighting, but it didn't end like that. And my end, it was, domestic violence was the last straw of me having to leave. So it was, a situation to where, we had to flee. It was life or death. It was literally at that point. And so becoming a single mom was not, again, what I set out to do. But when life give you lemons, you got to make the lemonades. You got to make the, lemonade, make the right choices that is going to, help you to still be victorious. So being a single mom, I just had to reframe my thinking. Once I knew I saw that was the direction that we was going to go in, then I had to prepare myself. I had to, I'm a planner, just by nature, that's just me. And so I started planning. Okay, this is what we're going to have to figure out, food. We're going to have to, because I was a stay-at-home wife, so I was, doing all the line. And in that too is I did start my own company. So I was building a company. I was still stay at home and working and homeschooling my children. I started homeschooling them when they were younger and so forth. So I was doing everything at home. But once I started to see where, oh no, look like we're headed towards a different, direction. So I had to start planning for that, and so it wasn't a choice, but I still prepared. I didn't just like allow it to come up on me and just be oblivious to what was going on in my home. I had to prepare. I prayed, I prepared, for the what ifs. Okay, God, you are able, to do all things, but if it's not looking like it's going to work out in that direction, I still had to prepare for, we're going to be a single mom. We're going to be a single parent home. And what does that look like? So
I was going to say, how did that feel for you? Was it a scary moment? Were you like, oh, I can't do this? Or were you more like, look, I can still do this. Let me get it done.
Yes. I'm always, I think one thing, I am a forward moving person. I don't cry over spilled milk. It's always, what's the solution to it? All right. There's
Wow.
no time to be afraid about it. You may have something that like, okay, I am an optimistic person. I'm very optimistic. Okay, it can be done. It may look, there may be some challenge, there will be challenges, but I had that model before me. Again, my cousin, who was like, she was
Killing
doing
it.
it. That gave me a positive outlook of saying, if she can do it, I can do it. I didn't ask questions of how she did. I just saw, and then that gave me that encouragement that I needed, and that faith, that I needed to say it could be done. I'm going to have to ask the right questions. So once I began to know, knew that that was the path, I said, I just got to open my mouth and talk. There's no need for me to be afraid. There's no need for me to be ashamed of anything. Yes, it may be there. Yes, I did feel those things, but I did not allow those to dictate to me of whether or not I'm going to move forward and how I'm going to do this, because now I got children they're dependent upon on me. I have to, show them how to go through hardness. And something my mom always, would say, endure hardness as a good soldier. This is one of my hard places that I had to endure. So I just had to put on that strength. I just had to put on that we're gonna have to do this. We're gonna put the boots to the ground. The resources that the little resources that I did have and understood in this area, of being a single mom, asking questions, going to, welfare, or going to the government for whatever the assistance. We're gonna have to do all of those things to get to where we need to be, leverage those places and utilize the resources that are there so that we can successfully be a single parent home.
Was there a struggle at any time, like for me, as I just shared, I struggled with the embarrassment at church. Did you have any of that?
No.
That's a
My
good church
mom was
person.
so focused on my children. Listen, who cares?
Right. For real though. For real. Good. Good.
I'm here to help you. What are you going to say?
Right. Right.
We and then too, the way that it happened, there was no need to be embarrassed, because it was a situation to where I had no choice but to flee. We had no choice but.
Right.
So the situation, and I think regardless of if the situation was that or not, if this is a decision that I feel like was best for my children and I, then who can be for me? I mean, against me. It's like, either you're going to get on board. This is the decision that we done made, regardless of what anybody else says. Then if there's nothing nice that you have to say, if there's nothing positive, if there's nothing, then y'all just sit on the sideline and watch us work.
Watch us. I love that. I love that. And I love it because I didn't know it then. I truly wish I would have had that mindset at the time. That was my whole life, being in church, and it being our church. I was actually one of the ones who had to stand up and apologize when I got pregnant.
Oh, wow.
At first. So because I was the example, and we have to let the people in the church know that this is not okay. I didn't really understand it at the moment. So the first time I got pregnant, I was not married. But I wasn't living at home either. So to make me come home to stand in front of a church to apologize, I didn't get it, but I did it out of obedience. But it was so it was so messed up for me in my head. I'm like, what? I'm grown. Like, I would get it if I was at home and got pregnant. I totally understand that. But not only was I not home, I'm living on my own in a different state, somewhere far, far, far away. And I didn't understand that. But it made me look at things differently. I didn't plan to be single. I didn't plan to get pregnant. I'm gonna be honest. If you ask anybody that knows me while I was younger, my goal was actually to never have them, like ever, like none. I mean, in hindsight, I wouldn't imagine me not having them, at least not having those ones, because I really, really like my kids now. But I did it. Well, let me put it this way: it was a struggle at 1st. There were so many things in life that I had planned before I had children. I knew what I wanted to do since I was little. So I had a life plan, and it didn't involve children. There's people who want them that can't have them. Yeah. And then here I am on birth control.
Wow. Okay.
Right? So I'm like, okay. So after a while, I was like, okay, it must be the Lord's will, I guess, so you know what? But it changed for me a little bit around when he started to move. Something changed in me. I think when he started to move was when my head and my body lined up to say, wait, hold on, I'm about to be a mom.
Oh, wow.
It was when he was moving, because then I got really curious. I wanted to know what he looked like.
Yeah.
I wanted to know what his little hands was doing, what his eyes. I just wondered. It's funny because I just wanted to have him so I could see what he looks like. Seriously. What he's gonna say or what he's gonna. I don't know. I fell in love with him in my stomach. Oh, and then when he came out, it was like, this is mine.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, his little fingers and his little hands, you know what I mean? Him calling me mommy, and it changed. I tell him all the time now, I'm like, you changed my world. Changed my world. You changed my outlook. You made me a mom. I tell him that every Mother's Day. I'm like, you made me a mom. And it's like, it's the best thing ever now. I didn't feel like that back then though. Like, me and him was cool, but then the other two came. So it's like, what is going on? Why do these children keep coming out of here? Like, it just felt like a lot of kids. It really did. But it was hard. Not always knowing if we could survive, as far as me choosing each month, okay, we're going to pay the light and gas, or we're going to pay the water bill. We're going to let the cable turn off so we keep the cell phone on. We're going to get gas, and we just won't get steak. It was always a decision that had to be made. And there have been times, especially Christmas or something else, where I'm saying, okay, we're going to use these water bottles, let the water get cut off so we can do this or do that. And you know what? We did it. We did it. And I tell people, as many people as I can tell, as many single moms as I can tell, you can still do everything you want to do with children. Anything, start the business, write the book. Now, I'm not saying it's just going to be peaches and cream. You might have to stay up a few nights. You might have to go in earlier. You might, you know what I mean? You might have to do a little extra, but it's possible.
Exactly.
What is your message from elite single moms to the single moms?
Yeah. Just to, even in that, what you were saying, the hardship of it. I may not have had this. Single moms, we're going to face some of the same challenges. Like you said, especially if you are coming in the BIPOC, Black, Indigenous, people of color community. We all face some of the similar challenges of having to decide between, two hearts, two comforts, two things that we may feel like, okay, I need this, but which one do I need? I need this as well. I remember, during that time of me, having to count out, grapes just so we can have enough, count crackers just so we can stretch, and every time I go back and I think about that, those hard places, they taught me how to, really trust the decisions that I make, trust that God is going to make a way, trust that, I'm doing the best that I can do with the given situation, but knowing also how to, and make good in those tough places, challenging you. It's stretching your creativity. So there's a lot of good that you learn if you have the right mindset, you have
Right.
the right perspective, you have the right people that you can, be around and hear the right messages of being a single mom. So one of the things that I'm always telling, or sharing with single moms is having clarity on your purpose, having
Mm.
clarity on why you are where you are. So this morning I was actually in my prayer. I'm doing this 30-day prayer challenge, and today is day 27 of the 30-day prayer challenge. So I was reading in Colossians, I do believe, and how Paul was talking about this one particular. Oh my gosh, what was it? He says he's in this place. He's in chains because of the gospel that he was preaching, the mystery of the
Mm.
gospel. So he's in chains. This is the reason why he's in chains. So that little part before we get to verse 4, and saying that pray that I do as I should, as I still know that I'm needing to do. You're a single mom. You still know that you need to make sure your children have, make sure that you have, make sure that you are, the things are good, knowing where your money is going, budgeting, making sure that you're planning out your day so that especially if you want to keep peace and order, organization, making sure you know what your week is going to look like. Meal prep if you need the meal prep, making sure that you are making those wise choices because your children are patterning after you. And so when that part that really stuck out to me is when he says that I'm in these chains. This is the reason why I'm in these chains. So why are you here? So
Mm.
understanding why you are where you are without blaming. He didn't go and blame
Right.
anybody. If it had not been
Right.
for them, I wouldn't be. No, he just understood the purpose and the reason behind why he was there, and understood like if he had not been in these chains, if you had not been a single mother, you would not known
Mm.
how to do some of the things that you weren't taught to do when
Yeah.
you were at home. God gives wisdom even in those places of inconveniences, in those places of hardships, in those places of tough times. There creativity that comes out of you. There is a newness of knowing who you are, realizing yourself as a parent. So the first thing I'm always sharing and teaching and letting people know when they're in this space of being a single mom, have clarity. You got to have clarity. You got to know why you are where you are. And then you have to have the right attitude. Whoo, that changes everything. When you have the right attitude, having the right attitude, if you have a heart of thanksgiving, if you have the attitude of I can, and that's my message behind what's your I can, knowing your I can in every situation that you're in. You have the power to get wealth, knowing this, and that changes your mindset when you understand what God has given to you. Even as a single mom, he didn't put that power in. Yeah, I'm so excited right now. He didn't put that power in nobody else's hands, regardless. He didn't give that. He still says, I give you the power to get wealth. That blows my mind. He didn't take that from you just because he didn't say, oh, you're disqualified from my grace, my love, the plans that I had for you. Jeremiah 29:11 still says, if you read it, it don't change. It don't change just because you're a single mom. It does not say, oh, except you single moms. The plans that I had, I have to, now they're no more. His promises are yes, and y'all, I'm super. His promises are yes and amen, regardless of if you're sick. So once your attitude changes, your whole life would change, your perspective would change. Because as a man thinketh, my God, today, so is he, so is his circumstances, so is his finances, so is his friendships, the relationships, how they parent, how they move in life. So when you have the right clarity of mind and then the right attitude, then your whole situation would change and you will start realizing your I can no matter the circumstances you're in. And then you'll start seeing goodness. My God, you'll start seeing the goodness and mercy and the favor and the provision of God right where you are. I did not mean y'all. I just get excited knowing what God still plans for single moms, because a lot of people feel like just because I'm a single mom, my whole life is over. I
Mm.
might as well, because of what they said. Who told you that? I love Coming to America. One of my favorite quotes from Coming to America, when they were all in the house, and they were trying to figure out who was the real prince. And so the daughter who thought she had the real prince, you know,
Right.
she was aggressed. And they was like, no, he's the prince. And they was like, who told you that? So when you understand who's telling you the messages that you are regurgitating, then you can start breaking down those, you know, myths and limiting beliefs that keeps you in this place of I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy of this. I can't, you know, make six figures. I can't have my own place. I got to forever be on Section 8 or forever have, you know, hand-me-downs and all the things that is over a single mom's life because that's what you've been told. That's the environment. And then if you're still listening to people that with that same mindset, you're going to forever be in that same mindset. But once you get clarity of purpose and understand why you're there, then everything else would change, because out of the heart of man, your heart would change, your will, your desires will start to change. So having clarity of purpose is the number one to reframing your life, knowing your life plan.
That is amazing. That is super amazing. I was listening to a couple of things that stood out. One, the mindset, because life is 10% of what happens and 90% of how you react to it. But as far as a single mom, I'm actually writing a book that I can't seem to get through because I can't do it without crying. And I don't mean like tear cry. I mean like snot, boo-hoo, can't see cry. But it is called They Are Why. And it's a reflection of a single mom. And I break down into chapters all the things that I learned because I was a single mom. All the ways that I've learned to move, me being an extreme couponer, that didn't stop just because I don't have no kids. I don't pay full price for nothing now because of that. Because I always know there's a better price, there's a better way. But I've learned to share. I've learned to take something small or some food that's small and add rice to everything. You know what I mean? Everything. We have a rice, bread, and potatoes. Yes, we are, with every single thing. But my children weren't hungry. Not one day were they hungry, but just different things I've learned to do. I've learned to watch. I've learned to be able to listen and work. You know what I mean? I can multitask because I was also running a business, a side business, when I had 3 small children. So yes, there's a child crawling all the way up my head while I'm typing, but I don't see him. I ain't paying no attention to that boy being on top of my head. It just got to the point where I can shut negativity off, or I shut them off. But it taught me how to shut out negativity. I can easily be talking to somebody and not hear a word they said. And certain things like that, I'm like, okay, that allows me to focus. I don't care what is going on around me. And I say that also in a spiritual sense. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care what it looks like. I'm listening and I'm hearing and I'm focusing on what God said, period. I get the bill collector is saying this. I get the doctor is saying this. I get them saying, I hear all of that, but I'm blocking it out because I have focus. I've learned to focus. I learned to give, where, you know, my grandma used to tease me because she would say that I was stingy. I didn't want to share when I grew up. And to me, I didn't think it was stingy because I would buy you your own. You just can't have mine. You know, so I don't know if that's stingy or not, but I don't feel like it's stingy because I would buy you one. That's not stingy, but I guess that's something I still got to work on. But I had to learn just to not, I learned to serve with being a single mom. At some point, I realized my day is not my day. My life is not my life. My morning is not my morning. And it spilled over into church. I have no problem working at church from sun up to sundown. I have no problem serving the man or the woman of God. I have no problem putting the things of God first. Why? Because I learned how out of being a single mom.
That's good.
He fortified me. He made me resilient. Yes, I'm a crybaby, but I don't generally cry because I'm just crying. I usually cry because I want to punch you in your face and I can't. So I cry. You know what I mean? I'm generally mad. It's not just
Yeah, you've done now.
yeah. And I'm not gonna cry in front of you. I'm gonna go cry in the car. I'm just not. But I wouldn't be.
Mm.
And in hindsight, now I can't say that's how I felt in the moment,
Mhm.
but hindsight, I would not be who or what or how I am
Mhm.
if I had not gone through what I've gone through. Like I said, I don't know that me and my children would have the relationship we have
Mm.
had I not gone through what I've gone through.
Mhm.
And being without, it also taught me to be okay with me. The book,
Mhm.
when I put the book out, The Best Version of Me, I did that because I had to learn how to be just okay with me. I'm not going to get in a relationship that's not benefiting me.
Mhm.
Whereas back in the day, I just wanted to be with somebody. Okay, I know he dogs me, but I'm gonna just be with him because he's real cute and I don't have no boyfriend. Or I'm gonna just stay here because he pays the bills and I know I can't. No, 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 not now. And if you have a problem with what's going on here, you can go because I'm okay by myself now.
Mhm.
But I learned to do without
Mhm.
being a single mom.
Mhm.
I learned that I did not have to have a venti caramel iced macchiato upside down with extra caramel every day. I didn't. I learned to go to 7-Eleven
Yeah.
and get some regular coffee for 99 cents, even
Mhm.
bigger. It taught me that I did not have to eat out because I didn't have a choice. I can't go eat. I can't go to Olive. I love Olive Garden. I couldn't
Mhm.
go to Olive Garden every day all the time. I
Mhm.
couldn't go get a carne asada burrito when I got ready. But that
Mhm.
also made me budget. When I tell you kids make you budget, it just ain't no joke. Like my God, today. And if it
Mhm.
ain't one, it's the other. This one's in football. This one's in band. This one wants to go to the church convention. We all three need new suits for Easter. And I'm like, then they want to go to the doctor and have medicine and stuff. Then you want to eat too? Like it's like so much, so much. But my heart goes out to the women and men because I've met. Did you know it wasn't until I was grown that I knew there were single dads?
Yeah. And
Oh my God.
worse,
Have you met single dads?
I have. And the stories they share with me is actually worse because the help that single moms have is not as available to single dads. And
And why
so
is
they
that?
even more weird and strange. And people think they are just trying to use their child to, you know,
Get
do the
extra. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So they have it. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
I noticed that. The first single dad I ever met, I thought he was being funny when he said he was a single dad because my insides couldn't figure out who would leave their child as a mom. I
Hmm.
couldn't, I couldn't, it wouldn't compute that a
Yeah.
mom, but that happens. It really, really happens in life. So shout out to the single dads and the single moms. I know we always say single moms, but maybe it should be single parents. I don't know. Because you're right. They don't get as easily what we get.
Hmm.
And people are not as quick to reach out and help as they are with us. But
Exactly.
hats off to them.
What happens when we work together? 100 people, one shared win, one powerful experience. iWin Conference 2026.
I was
Hmm.
one of the ones that God said, okay, I'm going to teach you a lesson. Okay, God, does it have to be with all these kids though? Like,
We just.
but I had to. When I had the first one, I was like, okay, still no big. I was still at the park on Sundays with the loud, loud music. I'm surprised he ain't deaf right now, because in the car with the boom, 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 boom. And I'm outside and I'm in my little pants and my skirts and you know. Then the second one came along, and it was like, okay, well, I ain't taking two kids. Then by the time the third one came along, I was like, let me sit down somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
calmed me down a lot.
Mhm.
It made me think better. It made me think for them and not me. It made me consider my surroundings. It made me consider my life. It made me consider my walk with God. Because the best place for me to have my children is in the house of the Lord. So I had left out of church when I was 17, and I was like, I'm never coming back. Ever. That changed because I'm like, Lord Jesus, I need your help. Like now. But I got in church because I wanted them to have God as their foundation. Because we can go through a whole lot of stuff. Life can be lifing a lot. But if we understand and know that the power of getting on your knees works, then I feel like everybody has hope. If they understand that when all else fails, if you don't know nothing else, get up, pray. Just pray. Call his name because it still works. It absolutely does. So I gave them what I had, which was God as the foundation. But I wouldn't have been able to do that had I stayed with the person I was with.
Right.
So in hindsight, I thank God for the journey. I am a different person. I appreciate him more. He did become my provider. I know not to depend on man, depend on the government, because the government will change in a moment.
And we see that now.
You know what? You're right. You're right.
I like the fact that what you were saying, your capacity stretched when you started to see other people in need. I like that because when you stop as a single mom and begin to see how God is, what you thought you didn't have room for God shows you. I'm going. My grace is sufficient. I'm going to give you capacity for what you have plus more. That's an abundance. That's an overflow, and we may not look at it like that, But now I'm having capacity to want to take in other people, even though And then the responsibility and discipline that you said was gained. Even from now, I have to be disciplined. I have to be responsible. Where once everybody is disciplined, but where your discipline lies is, you can be disciplined in spending wrong, or you can be disciplined in building wealth and, making sure that we have and being responsible with your life. Having a life plan is something that we talk about all the time, with single moms. You got to have a life plan.
Right. What was your defining moment that led you to realize I can't stay here? I have to reclaim my life.
I was in the middle of, we moved here to Texas, and we ended up in Texas Baptist Children's Home. My children had gone off to school, and I'm in like 4 walls and in the middle of the floor just crying. And I'm trying to reclaim my life. I'm trying to figure out how in the world did I get here? Like some things happen, and it's like you look up and like, how did I get in this space? How did I get here? And never in my wildest dreams, I never would. So now I'm trying to just pick up all the pieces. I come from having a business and getting clients and all this stuff to a totally different city, a totally different state. And in the, women's shelter with the degrees and with this and that and other. And now it's like, how did I get here? Now this is my defining moment, crying. And I'm asking the Lord, how am I to rebuild? What am I to do? How am I supposed to move ahead? And Philippians 4:13 came to me. It was like, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I said, I do not want to hear that. That is not what I said. That ain't it. We're going to try again. I'm like, Lord, that's not it. I need something else. That's not working for me. I done been holding on to that for so long. It's not happening. And so he said, Kristy, what's your I can? That was my defining moment of me being able to reclaim my life, because he says, I put the power again in your hands. I gave you the power. I gave you meaning the abilities, the skills. What is it? I feel like God has given me the, ability to communicate, to be a speaker, to organize, and to, be able to gather people who are in different stages of their life and give them clarity about where they are, helping them to leave a 9 to 5 and build a business that they love. God has given me these skills, and this is my power. And so he says that I gave you power. Again, Deuteronomy 8:18, I give you the power. That was my defining moment. And once he said Kristy, and one, I'm an inquisitive person, so he knew, like, I got to ask her some questions. I got to put the ball back in her corner. So, Kristy, what's your I can? And so in that moment, I heard that, I picked myself up, I dried my tears. It's like the tears just stopped. And I was like,
Yep.
oh my gosh, this means I have control over my life. He gives me everything I need pertaining to life and godliness. This means through Christ, I can do all things pertaining to what he has given me. And so that was and that's when I started writing my book. That's when I started to reclaim my life. That's when I got LLC. This is when I started to have my first in the women's shelter. I was doing all of these things.
What?
I didn't wait until I came out. My God, I did not wait until I got out. I said, oh, he power to get wealth. Oh, so that means whatever I plan and whatever I'm going to do this now. I'm going to use the power that he gave me now and not wait until the right moment, the perfect time, the perfect season, the perfect, I hope my first, speaking event, and I started to help companies, with their events and so forth. So all of this in a women's shelter.
I learned that later in life. I'm glad that you already caught that, but there's no such thing as the perfect time. I'm yet to find perfect time. That's in it, out of it, after it, before it. I'm yet to find perfect time. I went through that with Sisters Cafe. I kept trying to wait till I had all the equipment, till I had the people, till I had the studio, I'm like, no, I heard God say, just do it. Mm-hmm. So I started it with literally a plastic Dollar Tree tablecloth and my S8. That's how I started it. And I mean, sometimes when I look back now, I'll be like, oh my God, I didn't even know what I was doing. But it's amazing now. We are going into the I Win conference. Like, what? Like, yeah, it's bananas. It's bananas in my head. It's so bananas in my head. But there's not a right time to the single mom. Even if you wait till they get older, it still doesn't become the right time. Because that's what I see. It's when they get older, I'll do this. When they graduate, I'll do this. And it still didn't happen that way. But I want to know, or tell the audience, how can we stay connected, and how can we support elite single moms?
Yes, thank you so much for asking. Kristy Angeli on my page here. You can actually, Kristy Smith, you can continue to follow me here. I do have a YouTube channel, which is Kristy Angeli, that you can follow and stay connected. And also just supporting elite single moms. I have a book that's out. And I think that book is called What's Your I Can? Realize Your I Can in Purpose, Business, and Family. And the link to that is What's Your I Can? I have the book that is linked right here. I don't know which way I'm pointing. Okay, so it's here. It's What's Your I Can? bit.ly/What's Your I Can. It's on Amazon. And that would be the perfect gift for single moms, because it share more of my story, share more of my faith, and share more of how I used the challenges that I was presented with and overcame them through Christ. And also it has a beautiful, journaling spaces to where you can write, where you can journal through your hardness and see God and yield to where you are and overcome and cry through wherever you journal. It's a healing book. It's a perspective giving book. It's a direction giving book. It gives you focus and clarity and understanding. Again, your I can. And I love the last chapter of the book because it puts you back in the position of power. So after you work through, you cry, you get upset, you're going to be angry when you start to realize yourself as a parent. But at the end, it ends with understanding the power that you have. It puts that back into your corner, single mom's corner. So getting that book and gifting that book to single moms in your organization and your ministry at your business, because even in corporate America, you have single moms who are needing to reclaim their life of abundance. They need to know that they can have, ask for that pay, that higher raise, or whatever they're needing. But a lot of times, being a single mom, you're afraid to ask. You're afraid because, I just deserve what I get, and I'm not going to try to go any further, but you're limiting yourself. So this book is a great book to have in the hands of your company, of your business, of your organization, so that and just gift it this season.
That's nice. That's nice. And again, I'm loving it. I'm loving that your heart is towards single moms, because not a lot of people understand. They see the outward, but they don't even understand, because we didn't even get into it, the internal battles that we fight as single moms.
Yes.
So that might be a whole nother segment.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna be honest, I didn't get to most of the questions I had for you, so we're gonna have to do this again.
Yes. The internal battles are real. Yes.
It's real. And those are the harder ones.
Yes.
Those are the harder ones, because we're doing it in silence.
Yes.
And it's left to our own imagination. This is why we have to be strong and fortified with God, because the enemy will come in through that imagination and just be yapping at you and yapping at you. And if you don't know how to cut that off, that's going to mess you up. But his job is to exhaust you and to steal, kill, and destroy. That's his job. And that is one way that he can, because we're so intentional about taking care of our children and being a good mom and doing things the right way, that the enemy can come in and try to disrupt all of that, especially again with the church, where you have people that have opinions. I love the way you said it, and I would say that to every person possible. Don't listen to the noise, because if they don't have anything to do with your household, it doesn't really matter what they're saying. Being the best version of myself didn't come till later on, but that's after 40 years of people pleasing, pleasing a whole bunch of people. When I'm with my boss, I do this. When I'm with my mom, I do this. When I'm at church, I'm like this. When I'm with my kids, I'm like this. That's crazy. That's bananas. And it took me literally 40 years to be like, wait a minute. Whether I do good or bad, they're going to talk about me anyway. So the best thing for me to do is what makes me and my children happy.
Right.
I'm going to let you go, but I got one thing for you. I got rapid fire. I love to do rapid fire. So it's the first thing that comes to your mind. I give you two choices. Okay. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Early morning grind or late night vision?
Early morning.
One word to describe this season of your life?
Transformative.
Faith or fear?
Faith.
Journal or vision board?
Vision board.
What's one lie women must stop believing?
They can't.
I like that. One scripture or affirmation that you stand on right now?
What's your I can? Philippians 4:13.
Okay, well then I already know what this last one is. Fill in the blank. I can
do all things. Christ who strengthens me.
I love it. I love it. Well, I thank you for being here. Everybody, she gave you the information. It'll be on the screen. Make sure you go out and get that book and gift it. It's this holiday season. Gift it to a single mom or gift it to a single group of moms. There's a lot of churches and groups and communities that have a lot of single moms. Just grab a whole bulk of the books and go ahead and give them to somebody for Christmas this season. But Kristy, thank you for being here. I will have you back so that I can ask you all the questions, and I really appreciate your time. Is there anything you want people to know?
That you have the power to overcome anything you put your mind to.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. We'll see you next time for another segment of Sisters Cafe.
my sister